fear inside your eyes. I see the pain in your smile. I can finally see you now. Oh, we radiate all over the world. We used to radiate, get radiate, but now we're drowning.
Welcome to the Theatre of Dreams for the final game in round 6 of the NPL Tasmania season. Really looking forward to this game this afternoon. Two fantastic sides going head to head, but two sides have had somewhat indifferent starts to the season, it has to be said. 3 points absolutely crucial for both South Hobart and Olympia today. There's usually fireworks when these two meet, and with the circumstances as they are, I think we can expect a very good game. Certainly I think both teams will have liked a couple of the results yesterday. Zebras being held by Clarence City, perhaps upsetting Devonport, but they're on top now on 14 points. Both these sides chasing him. 7 points behind Olympia and 9 points behind at the moment as it stands South Hobart. Both teams will look to eat into that with 3 points today, and the South Hobart 11 tasked with doing just that. Well, it's a very good looking lineup, and they really came to life 7 days ago. They've had a bit of trouble scoring this season. There was no such trouble against the Zebras. They were led magnificently by number 18 down the bottom there, Renato Deveci Marins, the Brazilian striker. Outstanding. Kieran Brown in between the sticks again today. He pulled off a couple of important saves. They were pretty dominant, and there is the man who apparently has been dubbed Nirvana back in his homeland, and the long locks there, just why. As the rest of the team, number 2, Connor Schmidt, and Adam Gorry, number 3, the two fullbacks. Oscar Thomas will partner Daniel Brown in the middle of defence. We'll wait and see what they do in an attacking setup. You'd imagine Deveci will probably lead a front three of Isaac Teghetto and Alex Walter, but we did see Alex Walter dropping into midfield last week, and South employing a bit of a back five. I think that was probably purely a match-up-based decision, though, to try and curtail the hyper-attacking Hobart Zebras system, and boys, did it work a treat. So I imagine the midfield three will be number 6, Luke Farrell, number 7, Nicholas Morton, and returning from suspension, number 8, Jack Turner. A fantastic engine room, even sans Kobe Kemp, as he has a couple of months on the sidelines with a knee injury. On the bench, Jack Bowman. Ryan Cook was that player we saw starting in defence last week. Back to the bench for him. Number 12, Jacob Brennan. Number 13, Keenan Dowse. And the backup keeper, number 21, the veteran Mark Moncour, who just having a run around in the Challenge League before. Enjoying himself there with the young kids. So that rounds out the South Hobart lineup. A very good side. They struggled with putting the ball in the back of the net. They were wasteful against Devonport here. They dropped points on that day. They couldn't find the back of the net against Launceston City up north. And boy, was there a bit of a release last Sunday when the start of the goal started flowing here. And they piled them on against the Hobart Zebras. Will Olympia meet a similar fate? We'll move on to the visiting lineup for this one. And in goals there, the American Brett Johnson has looked a very astute signing. The Hobart Zebras bit, definitely the Olympia Warriors on the agenda for today. Number 3, Gordon Gerson has been deployed in attack. The import coming into the team in recent weeks. The postman on the right wing, Warren Wadawu, a fantastic footballer. He's having a very stellar year. Number 8, Alex Holmes, the big centre back. He's a behemoth in the middle, and you'd imagine he'll probably partner Paul Stevens at the back there with Jake Vandermeer, who's been playing in a fullback position. Looking at that lineup, Jonathan Griffiths, I guess, will be the fullback. So I'd imagine Vandermeer right and Griffiths left, perhaps. Mark Ortman, you'd expect to start in midfield along with Lucas Hill and Eduardo Castaneda. And certainly Hugh Undy is the real creator in the side. If they're going to score goals, so much of it comes through Hugh Undy, and Wadawa will be important, linking up with Gerson. It's a strong Warriors team. They've pulled up all right from a tough road trip north last week to Devonport, a highly commendable result, losing in the Lacka Seljuk Cup, but pushing them for a full 120 minutes just 3 days after an Anzac Day clash. That was a good effort from the Warriors. Dale Litchin said at his presser midweek, he's still figuring out if this team is good enough to challenge for the title, if they can cut the medal just yet. They've failed in their first couple of tests in the big games down here against Hobart Zebras and Devonport. I think it'd be slightly harsh to say that. I thought that was a good result despite bowing out of the cup. And it's just been a slightly indifferent start. They've shown good flashes. They've not really strung 90 minutes together too often, though, and that will be their challenge today, because if they're off for a moment, this South team could punish them. And they're going to need to lift, because their head-to-head record not great with South Hobart down the years. It's been a very one-sided rivalry, and quite often that's been coming when South are in better form than they have been this season. So it'll be interesting to see how they go on the bench. Tommy Little, Joel Samet, Joffrey Koso, Tommy Bellini and Darby Randall. So youth but impact players on that bench, looking at the likes of Samet, Bellini and Koso. They're players who can come off the bench and make an impact. I'm very confident in that. So some options for Hitchens at his disposal if they need to change things up in the second half. We'll be expecting goals in this game this afternoon. Both teams will look to attack each other, and a crucial 3 points on offer today. Drop any more points here and they might find themselves in just a wee bit of trouble. So you need to be on guard, that is for sure. And joining me here to call the game this afternoon, sliding in alongside me just in time for kick-off, Jake Morgan. Good afternoon, sir.
And it's impeccable timing as ever from me, isn't it, Andrew, calling? But what an affair we have for us today. Exciting times to get a glimpse of two teams who've had a bit of animosity in the past, and we always like to see a competition like that because it means more to the players and it means more to the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Bit of Sandwich Gate controversy about 12 months ago springs to mind. I think we've probably moved on from that since, but just highlights the tensions that exist between these two teams. And I think there'll be plenty of feeling in it. We saw plenty of feeling in the Devonport-Launceston City game last night. That was a fiery old affair. Will we see that again today?
There was a set piece from a Lonnie City game that I saw the other day that was just quite extraordinary and absolutely goaded the opposition defence into destroying their line, and the chip ball in over the top was well put away too. So excited to get a really good look at them at later points in this NPL Tas series. Yeah,
obviously they'll be taking on South Hobart in a couple of weeks' time in that big Lacka Seljuk Cup semi-final, so undoubtedly they'll be tuning in to this one up in Launceston and having a good look, and they'll be looking down from the top of the table, which is where they now occupy, and I think they'd be more than happy for these two teams to just play out a draw and hurt the chase of them, but a draw probably not going to do either Olympia or South much good. They'll be gunning for 3 points today, and I expect early fireworks. There's often been early goals when these two teams have played, and we might see that again today. Charles White, our man in the middle today, and you just need to keep things from boiling over. As my co-commentator just loses his program. Yep, it is a windy old day here at Darcy Street. Not quite as ludicrously windy as it was yesterday.
We've got one of the fantastic locals of South Hobart either stealing it from me or helping me out the ladder. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, my friend.
So we're just about good to go in this one at the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy Street. A huge 3 points on offer. Both teams simply must win, or they will be ceding some seriously early ground to the likes of City and Devonport.
I'm really excited to see this midfield battle today, Andrew. A little bit's been said throughout this series about Eduardo Castaneda and Mark Ortman lining up in the middle of the park for the Olympia Warriors. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they will cope with a much bigger ground to cover than the old Warrior Park. So Olympia get us underway and move it out wide through Hugh Undy, who begins a bit of a bursting run early on. Goes into the middle of the park where Castaneda's going to have his first contest, and he gets stuck in and won the ball very well in the end. Warren Wadawu trying to get around the outside on Connor Schmidt before Ruby Castaneda gets another chance on the ball.
Scrapping away
to get involved early, isn't he, Ruby?
Yeah, he is Castaneda, and obviously fair bit in this one for him against his former team, and big Lucas Hill powering back the mountain to win that one, and it looks like he might be lining up in defence today. So a bit of a shift from Dale Hitchens. He seems to be sitting a little bit deeper, so Morton will defer the throw-in duties. Alex Walter chests it down, puts it away there, and it'll be a South Hobart throw. Deveki Marins looming around there, and he does loom large over this contest after he lit up this ground 7 days earlier with a breathtaking display, and he wants the ball at his feet early in this one, but ignored on this occasion by Connor Schmidt, who's taking his sweet old time with the throw. Eventually releases to Jack Turner, volleys it in there, and turning is Deveki Marins trying to shoot. He went the back here, wasn't on the same page as Jack Turner, and Castaneda against the former team will send it out to Vandermeer, and Walter shutting that one down.
It's interesting because the team sheet here is somewhat misleading me with the numbers out there, but that is Paul Stevens lining up in the centre of the park today, I would believe, if my eyes don't mistaken me. So it looks like Dale Hitchens might have just gone with a little bit of extra protection for those two young midfielders on the bigger ground. So
it's interesting. Hill moving out of midfield, and I reckon Deveki Marines is probably a big part of that too. He wants his best player back there, marking the best player of the opposition as Olympia look to counter down the left-hand side through Undy. Shifted it in to Stevens. He goes to Castaneda. Shifts it wide to Vandermeer. Vandermeer back in for Hugh Undy, who turns onto the right and then dinks one. And that's blocked off by Alex Walter, who gives chase and keeps it in. Perhaps they're going to lead out in the break now. Deveki Marines up against Hill, and again it's the Mountains sliding in and winning the ball away from the Brazilian.
Couple of really good challenges early on here from Lucas Hill, and I'm really excited to see that battle today, because when I had a good look at Deveki Marines the other night, or the other day rather, at South Hobart, he was in extraordinary form with the hat-trick. So he's certainly a player who's going to be looking to endear himself even further to the South Hobart faithful.
Does have the makings of a cult hero. As Alex Walter turns on the ball, Hill close proximity, back to Connor Schmidt. Schmidt just curls one in, that'll be easily gathered by Johnson. Just asking the right question there, Schmidt. And a couple lining up for the header. Couldn't pick them out. Griffiths with a poor pass down the line, cut off by Jackson, won it back. Now chipped forward by DeGhetto into the path of the Mordhog. Morton got there before Hill, volleyed it towards Deveki Marines. Vandermeer using his size and his strength, and just outpoints the Brazilian. Nicely done, Jake Vandermeer. Castaneda. Dawu, a long way from home, goes back to Vandermeer, just clears the area in the Gerson direction. Dogger Brown rising to see it away. Now Altman with a foot in, but that's straight out of play. Dogger Brown with the throw in.
Now we've got some background on Gordon Gerson for me, Andrew Cooling. Not a player that I've had much time to get a bit of a look at. So certainly seems to be lining up top for the Olympia Warriors.
Yeah, new players coming in recent weeks. A bit of the skunk hairstyle going is the early scout on him. If we have a look there, and, real multi-layered style going. One for Paul Hunt to look out for, no doubt. But it's Oscar Thomas, but an American import, quite pacey, quite lively up top. He throws himself about, and you'll see there, he chased everything down for you, and he'll certainly put in the hard yards as Holmes nods that one back to Brett Johnson.
Yes, it is a pretty rude hairdo from the import, but we always like our imports to add a bit of extra colour to the league. So we see Nick Morton just played out through Gorry, and Gorry's in here. He's got Deveki Marines in the middle. Plays it across, and the shot is just missed there by, I think, DeGhetto. Just the ball played a little bit too late, perhaps, and just a little behind him, but geez, very dangerous stuff there from the local team, South Hobart.
They made an impressive start. That was the first close attempt in this one. 5 minutes into the game. They weren't too far away from opening the scoring. Adam Gorry bombing on in behind the lines. He crosses. It might fall for Alex Walter. Takes a touch. His volley went straight to Lucas Hill though. And clears the area. It's a line with Dawu. Rolled by Connor Schmidt, getting a foot in. Scrapping away there is Schmidt. Dawu, clever little chip in towards Allman in the end. Just got out of trouble nicely there, the postman. Double man mark, but did nicely. Griffiths launching it forward. The direct approach, and Schmidt just got a foot in. Ahead of Wazawu.
Yeah, got to praise Connor Schmidt for that, because that is supreme tactical awareness.
Free kick line there. Give it a chance from the set piece. So you're right, it was good tracking back from the fullback Schmidt. Did it nicely as Griffiths down the left wing. Sets himself for the cross, plays it in. Looking for Holmes, but his opposite number, JT, was there. The Mordhog back to Oscar Thomas. Direct approach from South. Will they get in behind? Lucas Hill should have this one well under control. DeGhetto giving chase. Hill showing why Hitchens has shifted him into the middle of defence early on here, but Morton wins it back, works it to Deveki Marines. Hill again, good challenge. DeGhetto just scuffing the pass. It's going to be brought back for the foul though.
Yeah, he did get the ball here. Did big Lucas Hill, but it's just a bit of a follow through there, I think, as well, which is the reason why Charlie White has given the free kick. Probably a free kick there, but some may protest with the age-old adage of football, he got the ball.
It's a common refrain, isn't it? If Morton's thinking about the shot here.
It's going to need to be something impressive to beat Brady Johnson in the Olympia goal. Looks like it is Morton. He just chips it up. Far post, Dogger Brown, but headed away there by, I think, Lucas Hill. He's having, Hundi rather, getting busy and helping his defence back there, tracking the run really well.
There's the big mountain. He's just covering everything at the back early on. He's a tough man to chip balls over the head of.
Had me confused for a second there with the rude number that he's lining up with, the number 10 for the centre-back, Andrew.
Yeah, it's a gripe of mine as Gorry swings in the corner. Wadawu away, only as far as Morton. Looked it back in, so did Brown, but Vandermeer's header repelled. And now Castaneda did well to control that one under immense pressure from Jack Turner, who brings him to the floor, and probably a wise decision from Jack there in the end as Olympia looked to break.
Yep, certainly a worthwhile professional foul there. It's just cutting out the break there before Olympia could cause too much damage, but Samet with a beautiful ball up the side here to Hundi, but well tracked by Gorry, and he's going to begin a South Hobart counter-attack. Have been enjoying the closing down work of Gerson so far there, Andrew, so Import is offering a little bit despite not having too much service early on.
He's a lively type. Hasn't quite hit his straps fully yet. I think it's pretty impressive last week at Valley Road. And like I said, the Cup games, Charlie White just coming across to deal with something here. And the game briefly pausing.
Yeah, just Hundi, I think, coming back.
He's limping quite a bit there, Hundi, which is not a good sign just 9 minutes into the game. Such a key mover. He's struggling to get back on side at the moment, Undy, and he won't even attempt to go near that one as Thomas deals with it, and he looks significantly hampered, does Hundi. He's soldiering on. And that one gets the back of his heel flying in there with Griffiths up against Gorry. And that could be the big story in the opening 7 minutes here. Very proppy Hundi. Here's Adam Gorry driving forward for South Hobart. What a ball, and it's a great challenge, but it forced it to Ghetto. Now Alex Holmes was in there. And Lucas Hill again with those long levers. Just stuck it out at the right moment because they were lining up for South Hobart.
Absolutely were, and he just did enough, didn't he? Just enough, but trickling away from him there nearly was the ball from Holmesy. As Andrew Cooling just distracts me with some wonderful news for the Winnipeg Jets, a mighty, mighty team.
Wonderful news, wonderful news. They're going the distance more.
No, still got Hundi limping just around the centre part of the ground here, though. Worries there for Olympia. Certainly wouldn't want to be forced into making a key change early on, especially for such a crucial link-up player, the way this Olympia side have been playing.
It looks like he's moved to the top of the formation at the moment, Hundi. He does look very proppy. He's got a couple of options on the bench. Tommy Bellini probably the most like-for-like replacement if they need to go down that route. They're going to give him a few minutes to see if he can run it off. But he doesn't look overly confident, it has to be said. Fingers crossed for him. He's a real playmaker for this team. So much of what they do well in the final third comes through Undy as Johnson gets himself in a little bit of trouble, pressured by to get over before launching it long. Schmidt was up there with Dawu to Undy. Flicks it on to Wadawu. Drives it looking for Gerson. Arriving was Gorry. Gerson lets it drop. And then looks to take on the fullback and find a little space. Couldn't get any, but now switches it. Morgan Brown well away. Stevens in that midfield role. Well, he hit it straight into Castaneda and almost turned things over. But Vandermeer, there was a little bit of contact from Zveki Marines.
A little bit of volleyball. A little bit of volleyball going on there between the two of them.
Well, this is just getting petty now at this point. In fact, it's going to be a slice of cheese for the Brazilian. Zveki Marines just taking the game of cat and mouse a bit too far there.
Yeah, look, I can understand both sides of that one. Certainly, if I was playing, I would never be keen to see a player try and steal a few yards on me, but at the same time, by the letter of the law, he's kicked the ball away and it is a yellow. Certainly showing the intent that he's approaching this game with there by absolutely fighting for every millimetre, Devechi Marines. As Lucas Hill thumps it cross field, but going to nobody in particular before it falls out the back to Gerson. He's got Gorry for company. Tries to take him on, but well defended there from Gorry. Ball gets moving quickly through Griffiths and just headed away there from Undy before Gorry whacks it away too and says you can wait a little bit longer to get that going. Oh, DeGhetto, nice turn there. Oh, and just a bit of a cynical foul there really from Ruby Castaneda, and the ball's taken quickly and he's onside there was Turner. He's got Devechi Marines in the middle. Crosses it. Oh, what a save there from Brett Johnson, because I think that was just going to creep to the feet of Devechi Marines.
Yeah, he didn't have a clue where it ended up, but he just flung himself at the ball, and important that he did, the American just saving the day there and coming off a little worse for wear from it. Jack Turner just punching this one in at the near post. Marines have made the run, and courageous stuff from the keeper.
Really well done.
Does the job. As Johnson still down on the ground afterwards. A little bit of the contact for his troubles. But, had to put his body on the line for the team there. Did so nicely. Beat this game at 0-0. In the first 15 minutes, South with the best couple of moments in attack so far. Not far away at all. Latching onto that one. Full extension was the American.
Just see the concussion test at the moment being applied to the goalkeeper, but it looks as though he will be fine to continue on. Just did look like he might have copped a shin across the face there from Brett Johnson, but fantastic to see that he is up and ready to continue. Olympia Warriors wouldn't want their penalty shootout hero from the Lacasselia Cup to be moved on. And Gorry gets it going. Combines with Walter before he takes an early cross, but DeGhetto can't get in at the near post, and Johnson will look to launch the counter here for Olympia. Haven't had much of a look at Jonathan Griffiths either there, Andrew Calling. But by Jove, does he look like Joel Samet, the other left back from Olympia, so certainly going to make things confusing out there.
Yeah, if they both get on, it can be a bit of a nightmare to distinguish those two. But, thankfully, coming up in the same spot Samet previously occupying. Left back spot there as this one's played over the top for Alex Walter. Getting a foot in was Holmes. Walter gets a run between his feet and then tried to pick out Turner. That's beautifully cut out there by the aforementioned Griffiths. Ortman to underuse. Seems to be pulling up Proppy again after that one. It looks like a man who isn't long for this game. He's try and soldier on, but it's twice now he's pulled up by Proppy. And he's making his way to this near side.
Was just initially hoping that it could have been a little corky or something, but could be something a little bit more serious.
He's going to make his way to the bench and either get some running repairs or tell him his day's done. Either way, he's going to have a word with the physio. So the Warriors, for the time being, down to 10 as Devechi Marines takes the ball, twisting one way, goes towards the line. Gerson did well to pressure him. And that wasn't so silky from the big giraffe there, just lobbing it straight out of play. He's only getting some treatment, but no substitutes warming up on the Olympia bench as of yet. A
little bit of the Saville school of coaching going on here.
Oh,
you're not injured, boy.
He wouldn't be on the bench if Saville was coach. He would be on the field. I remember Braden Mann playing on one leg for about half an hour at Darcy Street 2016. He asked 3 times to be subbed, I think, and Sav just told him to get on with it. Yeah, a slightly different operator, Peter Saville, when it comes to that sort of thing. But, hopefully, Huandi can continue as Castaneda chips it forward for Warren Wadawu. Wadawu back to Stevens, returns it to the postman, sliding one through for Gerson, took a good touch and then he drives it. It's a fairly easy save for Kieran Brown to make though, his first of the day, and the immediate release springs Adam Gorry down the right with some real estate in front of him. Stepping in was Griffiths, won the ball and then slid on Devechi Marines. Good full-hearted effort that from Griffiths and held up the progress of what looked like a pretty promising South Hobart break there.
Well, I tell you what, Deveki Marins could always take up the high jump if his football career doesn't pan out, because that was a fair leap.
Yeah, I've noticed that competing for balls in the air a few times. He does have a good, explosive old jump on him. Deveki Marins as Darby chests it down. Back to Van der May. He works it forward, but that'll be cut off by Alex Walter. Dawu. Schmidt. Now Stevens. Ortman in the bullseye. Spreads it across to Griffiths. And he's head up the left back. There's the direct ball, looking for the run of Gerson. Straining to get there was Dogger Brown. Jack Turner wins it back for South Hobart. A brief dalliance with the Warriors, but returns to Darcy Street here. A South Hobart player. Deveki Marins picks up on an error. He pounces on it and charges off towards goal. Does Deveki Marins, and Lucas Hill just cynically steps in, and he knows the yellow card's coming his way for that. He knew he was copping that the moment he made the decision.
For a half second there, I almost thought that was being let go, but absolute clear body check there. So free kick in a dangerous spot now for South Hobart, but yeah, he really got stuck in on that one, Lucas Hill, and he's probably going to have to be pretty careful for the rest of the game now, especially with the amount of pressure they've been coming under early. If that is any indication of things to come, certainly could be looking at potentially adding another cheese. But what a run that was from Deveki Marins.
He just left it there and he picked it up, and he had one thing on his mind: let's drive this towards the box. And in the end, it took a rather cynical piece of defending to stop him. Leads to another set-piece opportunity, but I think the bigger thing would be Lucas Hill playing centre-back on the yellow card for another 72 minutes. We know he is prone to a bit of a shirt grab as Hugh Undy makes his way back out onto the field. Which is a good sign. So Morton go at the little dink again. He takes the shot this time, hoping for the rebound, but there is none. Of course, it is secure hands from the American. He's going to leave that one on the doorstep for Deveki. Van der May to Undy. To Van der May into the middle for the business Ortman. That's a delightful ball from Ortman. It springs Wadawu. Tried to tee up Gerson. Gerson on the left. Great save, Kieran Brown. Denies Gordon Gerson. It's Olympia's clearest opening of the game, and maybe should have done a little bit better there, the Warriors.
Gee, there are a few really good passes in there from the Olympia Warriors, particularly that ball from the business Ortman to play through the postman Wadawu. And Wadawu putting it into a fantastic spot for Gerson, who just couldn't direct the shot into that far corner the way that he wanted. But very worrying signs there for the local team. Just seeing them now draw a bit of pressure, and Morton is bustling into the box, but he had Jakey Van der May for company, but promptly lost his footing. Got Turner now, he's got a few in the box, but he spies Gorry far side, tees up to Deveki Marins. Got Ghetto in the centre. What a block there from Lucas Hill.
Goal saver. That's why he's in defence today, big Lucas Hill. He saves today. It was a wonderful build-up and great option from Jack Turner. He had three people in the box, but he saw Gorry in space, went there instead, and that was some lovely flowing football. And the danger's not past because Deveki Marins is into the box again. He gets around Holmes. He can't get around the mountain. He has been imperious in the box so far. That's closed down by Gorry and causes a few problems. Olympia just a little casual playing out from the back here, and again, they've turned it over. The pressure South Hobart applying, just getting to them a little.
Yeah, they're starting to turn the screw here. Just wonder if the breakthrough is coming. And it's Turner. He's got a couple in the middle. Morton. The ball's just falling out the back to him. He's got a couple more in the box. Just goes himself there, perhaps a bit unnecessarily, before Van der May and Undy combine to clear. But Dogger Brown coming over and just whacks it straight back into the box. Ghetto and Hill coming together, but whacked away there from Van der May. Chaos in the South Hobart box, Andrew.
Yeah, they're scrambling back in defence here, the Warriors, but they're holding on. South Hobart push hard, and we have another look at that. Lucas Hill, goal saver, just got in front of Ghetto. Saw it away. Great stuff from the big number 10. Well, it would have been a certain goal to Isaac Ghetto, and he's going to miss time his clearance on this one, but it's going to work out all right because it's spun back to Brett Johnson. It would be lucky than good, as they say, as this one is smashed away. Fortunately for the Warriors, Lucas Hill very much both. He's been key to them in keeping this game nil all so far.
We're almost surprised that Gully didn't just snavel that up there from Lucas Hill. But no, he survives to bat another day. Dogger Brown just getting onto the ball here and combining with Loic Farrell. It's been a little bit quiet today, Farrell. Andrew, haven't seen too much of him getting involved, though it doesn't help that he's positioned usually behind the Darcy Street pole. Lovely little ball there from Nicholas Morton, and they're combining well here, South Hobart. De Ghetto just missing that one by some distance.
Going wide, good build up in South Hobart. They've responded well to that Olympia chance from Gerson from that moment on.
That's some good camera work. Perhaps a little bit of boot being left in on Castaneda there from Nick Morton.
Good battle there in the middle. Busy as ever, the Morthog. It's going to be Alex Holmes playing straight back to his keeper. Said, I don't want it, you can have it back. And now Griffiths tried to get around Loic Farrell. He wasn't having any of that. His pass was poor though, went straight to Gordon Gerson. Gerson looks up, didn't see much in advance, so just holds the play, and then he spreads it wide and forces Huundi to retreat. They've kept a hold of it at least, but South Hobart are back on mass, so they're going to have to work their way through this. Castaneda, Stevens, out now for Warren Wadawu, the postman. He swings it in looking for Huundi, heads it back in the Gerson direction. Connor Schmidt mistimes the clearance. How will it fall? Gorry read it better than Wadawu, and he'll just clear the area. And it'll be a Warriors throw in. So a bit of a scrappy passage of play, that one.
Yeah, I don't think either of them were reading that ball for a second. It's bouncing around like a pinball machine there. They get it going again here, Olympia. Lovely turn there from Warren Wadawu. Tries to tee up Gerson, but gets another bite at it and swings it far post. Did have Undy lurking there, but comfortably held from Kieran Brown in the South Hobart goal. Going to look to get it moving again here pretty quickly as Dogger Brown looked to tee up Turner, but just misplaced that pass. Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown. Slip up of the day.
Oh,
don't mind it.
This football's been kicked. Understandable mistake. Turner wins that one. To Ghetto, back to Turner. Lucas Hill has this one covered.
Yeah, he's a good fella, Charlie White. So apologies for the peanut reference.
Getting the colour palette mixed up there as Jack Turner works it to Schmidt. Lucas Hill had front position on De Ghetto. Fancy little back heel that from Jake Vandermeer. Showtime there from the Warriors defender. Ortman wanted that and got in and won it. Nicely done. Now Huundi, well, he's moving all right, and he slides it through looking for Gerson, but well covered by Alex Walter. Working back in defence there, the winger. Doing his due diligence. Undy, well, whatever the treatment he received on the sidelines, well done to the Olympia Medicos, because he's moving all right now. Ortman gets a foot in and just trying to play in Undy, but it'll be brought back.
Postman looks to be in a bit of pain. Just down on the ground at the moment, but fortunately he is rising back up, and that was a sort of full-blooded challenge that you can certainly worry can cause an injury. Just being blocked there by our man Charlie White. But certainly was a full-blooded challenge, and we always love to see players getting stuck in properly. Chipped into the box from Castaneda. A few bodies arriving there, but the offside flag has been raised against Olympia. Not sure which one of their players strayed there, but certainly one of them has. How do we feel about the Gecko for Gerson?
You have to explain that one to me.
Oh, Gordon Gecko, financial genius of the 80s.
Oh, right. Obscure. Keep working on it, I reckon.
I don't mind a Gecko.
Not opposed to it. We haven't got Gecko in the league.
He darts about the pitch like a gecko.
Yeah, that's true. Deceptively quick geckos. Castaneda works to that,
just manages to make the ball really stick to his feet. Like he's got suction cups on them, perhaps.
We've had bigger stretches, that's for sure. We'll roll with it. Here's Griffiths.
Strawberry kisses for Webster's the big stretch.
Don't get Gilly on you again as Warren Wadawu plays this one off of Adam Gorry and wins himself a corner. So nicely done there by the postman.
He went over to the despicable code.
The dark side. Wadawu to take a corner here. 27 minutes by in this one, and no score just yet. And the Warriors just starting to work their way back into the contest after South had a good little period there. This game ebbing and flowing so far. Wadawu swings the corner in. Player hits the deck there, turn and shot, and it was blocked away. They'll get a second chance here. Wadawu swings it in near post. Adam Gorry tries for handball, rather half-hearted ones, I must say, and he clears the area. But that first cross in caused a little bit of panic there at the back, and a good shot block. I'm not sure who it was who stopped this one, but Luke Farrell, the Frenchman, getting a crucial block. So well done. That's the type of stuff that he does so well. Luke Farrell, as Griffiths has time to shape one in towards the Gecko. Huandi at the top of the box, volleyed it straight into Dogger Brown. Closed that one down nicely, and now the foot race is on between the two replacements for each other, if you will, and the returner and Castaneda.
And Castaneda wanted that more. Just winning out there, getting into took that away from Turner, but certainly gotten out there today with a man with something to prove. But they're just starting to get a bit of possession and position here, the Olympia Warriors. Lovely combine there from the Gecko and Huandi. Just whacked away there by Dogger Brown though, imperious in defence as ever, and that is just rude from Rudy Castaneda there. Just showing his foot skills and giving Nick Morton a bit of a merry dance. That's one for the highlight reel, I reckon.
I think he's come here with a bit of a point to prove this afternoon. Ladi Castaneda, of course, off South Hobart, couldn't quite break in, get regular game time. He's moved to the Warriors and been a staple of that midfield. And I think he'd be well and truly up for this contest, and that's a nice little touch from him too. Not such a good return ball from Stevens, and Morton tries the direct approach. He launches it down for DeGhetto, but the pace of Lucas Hill again leads his attacker to the ball. His clearance went straight to Nick Morton. Morton trying to weave between a couple, and now sliding in Castaneda. Morton's still going. Stevens with a good challenge. Lucas Hill, they still can't get it away from the foot of the Morthog, and eventually the foul is against him.
And just a little bit of a coming together there from Alex Holmes and Nick Morton too, just having a couple of words with each other.
It's wonderful from Castaneda.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Going back to his feet. Springs in his feet there.
Yeah, a little 1080 there just about. Tony Hawk would be proud of that one. Just getting himself in a bit of trouble here, Brett Johnson. He'd want to clear this one away. Only as far as Turner. He goes the chip. Ooh. And it was a lot closer in the end than I thought it was. So fair play to you, Turner, because off the boot I thought that was going well wide.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to beat Johnson, but the thing just might have changed direction on it late, because he seemed to have it covered and then was scrambling in the final few steps again, but landed on top. Could have been a potentially awkward one for the Warriors keeper, as Griffiths and Deveki Marins with a shake of their hands there. Good to see as the Warriors fullback looks to take the throw in, not looking for Ortman, but put it onto the head of Gorry. Alex Holmes decisively away. Thomas straight to Wadawu, who tears off towards the South Hobart box. He's in here, Warren Wadawu, he cuts it back. Good defensive header there from Dogger Brown. Steers it behind, and another Warriors corner.
Really growing into this game now, aren't they, the Warriors? Somewhat overrun at times for the first 20 minutes of the game, but in the last 10 minutes, they've certainly come right back into it. Yeah, certainly in no rush to get going here, Warren Wadawu. That's a little bit of the gamesmanship here, but teams are often never in a hurry when they are even and playing away from home. Wadawu curls it into the box, near post. Gecko gets ahead to it. There's a cluster of bodies there, but palmed away only as far as Wadawu. He goes first time. Kieran Brown gets a good double fist to it and gets it away, but once again, only as far as the Olympia Warriors. Lucas Hill showing some brilliant foot skills there for a centre-back, and he just whacks it in as well before cleared away. Turner just managing to combine with Schmidt before Deveki Marins has had a beautiful ball played over the top. Balances the ball like a seal, gets his shoulder dug in there and wins the free kick. And just a yellow card earned there, I think that is really good refereeing there from Charlie White, because if he's dishing out the yellow card earlier on I think it was Deveki Marines for kicking it away, then you've got to go the cheese there on Griffiths.
Yeah, and I think really well called because he did the, I'm going to try and disguise the kick away as I get back to my feet and I'll get away with this. Charlie White was not fooled. It wasn't Charlie Brown with the football on this occasion. He was not to be deceived. He knew exactly what Griffiths was doing.
Oh no, don't. Let's not normalise.
As the free kick opportunity for South now. Very nicely officiated there for sure. And Jack Turner, he's got the option of Morton. He passed it straight to Castaneda. I think they might have caught out the Warriors with that variation.
But he did really well there, didn't he, to just recover the ball for his team before Olympia could break. A really good coming together there from Morton and Hill, but Hill just having the benefit of the hang time there. And Morton tunnelling in a bit, giving the free kick away to Olympia.
So to relieve a little bit of for the Mountain. Morton presenting a short option for him, but I think long is the most likely avenue, and he goes to Jake Vandermeer, volleyed it, perhaps looking to get a little more on that and playing Gerson, away by Oscar Thomas. Griffiths has to sit and wait for this one, did well, worked it to Stevens, but scrapping away to Ghetto, and now Jack Turner looking to slide into Vecchi Marines, but good strength from Lucas Hill, held his position and boxed him out nicely. And the move of Hill to defence has paid off so far, I think, for the Warriors. A good move from Dale Hitchens.
I think Stevens has actually looked quite good in midfield as well. Like, he's stuck tight to the back four and not let too much distance get between him and his centre backs. And when you're playing that kind of role, if you stick to that kind of discipline, you're going to have a bit of an impact on the game. And he's just eating up a lot of the space that South Hobart like to work in between the lines, which is a real strength of that team. So, yeah, I think Dale Hitchens has got his tactics spot on so far, but it is still early days. As Gordon Gecko nearly latches onto the end of that one before gets it away to Ortman. Ortman nearly selling Wadawu short. So just could be in here, South Hobart, and it's Walter, but Griffiths did really well there to get the body position completely right. And Olympia through Wadawu looked to counter-attack.
Oh, dear. Picks up and pounces on Larry. He played it behind Turner, who then slides one through for the run of Alex Walter. Holmes, well, he just casually strolled across, knowing his long legs would get him there first and knock that one into touch safely. And South looking to probe here. 34 minutes gone, first half. 0-0 in this crucial round 6 game at Darcy Street. Walter works it in there. Lucas Hill repels to the top of the box where Castaneda will volley it clear. Gorry back to the Frenchman. Feral TV. Great pass to Walter. Good defence again from Griffiths, but Walter kept fighting and eventually worked it to Gorry. He chips it up now for someone to attack, but it's going to be comfortably classed by the American Johnson. There's a poor throw, bit of lack of awareness. Griffiths almost made it work. It was dicey stuff though, and then Alex Walter gives it right back. Gifted right back in turn to Jack Turner, who gives it right back to Lucas Hill. A little bit sloppy at the moment, Morgs.
Yeah, a little bit more like a Monty Python sketch than a football game there for a second. Just a bit of a comedy of errors going on, but Olympia now starting to get a bit of the position before a powerful shoulder barge comes in. It would make any rugby league fan quite proud of that effort there from Dogger Brown.
Scrunched him, didn't he? Didn't miss, the big fella. Get out of here.
And you can just see the smirk on his face, enjoying his work there as the referee has a bit of a chat to him about that one. But gets away without a cheese for what was probably reckless, maybe.
He pushes the limits, Dogger Brown, that's for certain. There's Castaneda over this dead ball. Alrighty, Castaneda sends it wide. Gorry judges that one and nods it away. Sean Griffiths to take the throw in. And he'll go back in the end for Stevens. Ortman. Slightly errant pass. Alex Holmes towards the Gecko. The rest of the menagerie was there, and the giraffe Oscar Thomas. Here's Wadawu chipping in, looking for Gordon Gerson. He's denied by Kieran Brown. Just stuck out the leg and made the save. Danger not past. Castaneda works it to Gerson. Gerson on the left again. Kieran Brown, the youngster, denying Gordon Gerson, I think, for the third or fourth time in this half.
And it's just that darting movement that I'm very quickly becoming accustomed to from Gordon Gerson up top. Getting into beautiful little areas and patches of space here, but the slip certainly assisted there, Olympia, but they're in again here, Olympia, and it's fallen in the middle to Hugh Undy. Good block there from Deveki Marines, getting back to help his team out before the ball ends up at the feet of a Nick Morton, who just thumps it away. Any route will do there to relieve the pressure for South Hobart, because they're just starting to become a little bit overwhelmed here. Castaneda nearly turns Luke Farrell into space, and in fact does, and goes right past Dogger Brown, who just shakes his head and says, "Young man, how could you betray me like that?"
Down the line they go. Isaac DeGhetto is offside. So nothing doing there, and Olympia get another chance. We said earlier in the half it was South Hobart turning the screws. Well, things have done a bit of a 180 here, and now it's Olympia who've had the better chances in this game. Gordon Gerson has had a few good looks. He's been unable to beat the impressive Kieran Brown, who's stood tall for his side in this first half so far. Now a flowing move sees Nick Morton in a bit of space. He spreads it out wide right for Alex Walter. A couple to pick out in the box, including Jack Turner. If he can keep it in, Walter gets the byline. Good foot in by Lucas Hill. Adam Gorry with the left. Charge down by the business Ortman. Did it well. And the Warriors can repel and maybe counter if this one will stay in for the postman. It does. Gorry furiously tracking back. Did it well with Dawu. Gerson. And his pass can't connect, so another player goes, but opening up here at Darcy Street this contest.
Almost surprising that we don't have a goal at this stage of the game, but in all honesty, if I was to think of the stats without looking at them, you'd think that Olympia have had more shots on target, but got DeGhetto here in a pocket of space, got the Mountain for company, just driving him towards the corner flag. DeGhetto getting stuck in and maybe manages to sneak in, just appealing for a bit of a push there, but certainly nothing doing, I don't think, on that one. Just a little bit more strength there from the Mountain. But they're in a pocket of space here too, Olympia, before Nick Morton manages to arrive just in time before the ball would have been played out to Castaneda. And they'll have another go at it here, South Hobart. Seem to be playing a lot more long balls as this game has gone on, Andrew Cooling. I'm not sure if this is a tactical part of the game or perhaps just the pressure that they're coming under, but they've got a chance to get the cross in here. Several in the box here. Turner goes low, but blocked away by the business Ortman.
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe the wind's a factor in the long balls they're playing. It's kind of tough to tell which way the wind's actually going. It's been swirling around quite a bit as Walter works it in, takes a deflection, might land in the path of Deveki Marines, who attacked it splendidly and then fired off a shot, which took some saving from Brett Johnson, but he was up to the task, and that quick release on the shot from Deveki Marines showing through again. Well done, Connor Schmidt, to work back on Gerson. Oh, the hunger of the young man immense there. Won it, worked it to Morton. He plays it across to the Brazilian. Deveki Marines with a step over, gets past Lucas Hill. Gordon Gerson in support. He goes past Hill once again. Can he beat Gerson? Oh, he's copped a little hand to the face there. Made sure the referee knew about it. And that's going to be a slice of cheese for Gordon Gerson. And a free kick in a promising position for South Hobart.
Certainly very strict on that one, perhaps. Just didn't really look like there was a lot of intent in that from Gordon Gerson, but yeah, as you're right, Deveki Marines certainly made sure. Maybe just attempting to drag him back a little bit, so yeah, probably a really good decision there from Charlie White, who had a better view of it than we did from up here in the stands, so definitely making the right decision, and it was some run from Deveki Marines, getting it very used to seeing the legs flying about in step overs from the Brazilian. Got very quick feet and earned his team a pretty valuable free kick here. We look to be getting it going pretty soon. Looks to be Turner over the ball. He's got many bodies in the box. Who is it? Headed away there, I think, from DeGhetto, who just came under pressure right as he was making contact with the ball. A beautiful chip delivery into the box there. with DeGhetto coming under pressure from Alex Holmes. Just putting it out of play.
Here's the business Ortman in the middle of Darcy. Straight threads a wonderful ball through for Gordon Gerson. He tracks it down, Gerson. What can he conjure up now? Just holds it up, showing patience. Then manufactures one looking for Wadawu. Couldn't quite pick him out. And South Hobart holding on. What a ball again from the business Ortman. Twice he's just split this South Hobart defence. Attacking now the other way, but the big frame of Lucas Hill just boxing out DeGhetto again. He's done that a few times today. Just the big frame there. Turner goes after this. Lucas Hill steered it away, and now Nick Morton pounces. Castaneda wearing him tightly. He works it to Devechi Marins. The Brazilian rolls the foot over the ball. One way, then the other. Jinks back inside, looking for a little support. He's got no one really there for him, so he turns. It's a great ball into the mix. I just eluded Morton. Great delivery again from Devechi Marins. Now the long ball, steered away by Oscar Thomas to Gorry. He goes to Walter, looks to burn off Jonathan Griffiths, who slid in and did it really well. Jonathan Griffiths, he's had a good half.
Devechi Marins at times just makes me forget that I'm commentating. I just sit here with my mouth open, salivating at the skills that are on display from the Brazilian. He's had certainly quite a time here working up this left-hand side, and he's gotten the better of many of the Olympia defence on a number of occasions. It's looking like he could be the player that breaks through at this stage. South Hobart with Walter here, and they've got three bodies in the box. It's a 3-on-3. Walter puts a little bit too much on it, headed back across from Devechi Marins. But well blocked out from Jakey Vandermeer and gathered from Johnson, who looks to get things going quickly. Paul Stevens here now. It's the ball going out wide. Warren Wadawu. Just to chip the ball in over the top, but the long neck of Oscar Thomas just craning to reach it before. Oh, the big shot there coming in from Gordon Gecko at distance, and what an athletic save from Kieran Brown.
Falls to him and he blasted this one. Look at the position he ends up in, and that is another good save from Kieran Brown, who just keeps on denying Gordon Gerson. I think that's 4 now he's denied him. Just keeps pulling off the big saves. And that might be the best of the lot. Powerful effort trying to catch him out. It wasn't to be. Is Warren Wadawu in the late corner here in the first half for the Warriors. Can he send them into the sheds with a lead? He curls it in. It's through a sea of boys to the back post. Undy back in. Vandermeer volleys, and Brown again with the save. Good hit from Jake Vandermeer and Kieran Brown. Well, it's been inspired stuff from the youngster in this first half. Well, half a dozen total saves he's made now.
This shot. Oh, what a save. What a save. That full stretch. Draw, just diving down to his left-hand side there, Kieran Brown. Fantastic effort from the keeper. And, gee, they look good when they work out like that. The full stretch save. South Hobart here, though, just looking to get on the counter. It's been end-to-end stuff for the last 10 minutes, and Devechi Marins just good coming together there from him and Lucas Hill. Neither of them were pulling out that one, but the pace there from both players showing real desire. Such a midfield game early on, Andrew, in the first 20 minutes, and just recently it's really become end-to-end as both teams give their all to try and get a goal. Great turn here from Turner. Turned by name and turned in the penalty area, but just couldn't quite work that one on target, or rather it's been blocked away. It's as though it's going to be Nick Morton to take this corner. Almost feel a little bit robbed if we didn't get a goal before the end of the first half, Andrew, but it's been quite the spectacle at this stage. Nick Morton curls it in, far post. He's got a few bodies there. Turner tries to head it back across the goal, but running backwards couldn't generate the power or direction that he wanted.
Yeah, it's really opened up. The chances flowing at either end at the moment, particularly for Olympia. Probably should be leading this game, if not for Kieran Brown, but thanks to Kieran Brown, it's still 0-0 as we reach half-time at Darcy Street. Olympia going to be a little bit frustrated after South dominated the opening 20. Olympia were great value, and they bossed the rest of that half. They created 5 or 6 really good goal scoring chances, but they've been left frustrated by the youngster in goals for South.
Yeah, and I think arguably South could feel the same way about the performance of Lucas Hill. Like, he has been pretty extraordinary back there and managing to get in a few crucial blocks, flying into his challenges, shielding the ball really well. So both teams have certainly shown a bit in that first half, and it'll be interesting to see who can break through in this second half. But yeah, probably pretty even in the first. Just Olympia probably drawing the better saves from Kieran Brown, with a couple in particular from Vandermeer and Gerson.
And that's half time here at the Theatre of Dreams. We'll wait and see what the wind does in the second half and whether maybe there was an advantage for the Warriors in that half. Still haven't quite figured that one out. We'll know pretty early in the second half though, and we'll be back in around about 10 minutes time to bring that to you. Don't go anywhere. This is an intriguing game here at Darcy Street. 0-0 at half time.
Ian Gorry's in here. He's got Deveki Marines in the middle. Plays it across. Oh, and the shot is just missed there by a think.
Gorry bombing on in behind the lines. He crosses. It might fall for Alex. Walter takes a touch. His body went straight to Lucas Hill though. In the middle of defence early on here, but Morton wins it back. Works it to Deveki Marines. Hill again, good challenge to get Hodgins.
Freddie Johnson in the Olympia goal. Looks like it is Morton. He just chips it up. Far post, Dogger Brown, but headed away there by
as Gorry swings in the corner. Wadawu away, only as far as Morton. Worked it back in, so did Brown, but Vandermeer's header repelled. Worked it back in, so did Brown, but Vandermeer's header repelled. And now Castaneda did well to control that one under immense pressure from Jack Turner, who does Hugh Undy, and soldiering on. One gets the back of his heel flying in there was Griffiths. Up against Gorry, 10 minutes here, very propping Hugh Undy. Here's Adam Gorry driving forward for South Hobart. What a ball, and it's a great challenge, but it forced it to Ghetto. Now Alex Holmes was in there, and Lucas Hill again with those long levers, just stuck it out at the right moment there between the two of them. So this is just getting petty now at this point. In fact, it's going to be a slice of cheese for the Brazilian. Ricky Marines just taking the game of...
Oh, DeGhetto, nice turn there. Oh, and just a bit of a cynical foul there inside there was Turner. He's got Deveki Marines in the middle. Crosses it. Oh, what a save there from Brett Johnson, because I think that was... And Gorry gets it going. Combines with Walter before he takes an early cross, but DeGhetto can't get into the near post. And
Stevens returns it through the postman, sliding one through for Gerson. Took a good touch and he drives it. Fairly easy save for Kieran Brown. Immediate release. Brings Adam Gorry down the right with some real straight in front of him. Stepping in was Griffiths. Won the ball, then slip on Deveki Marines. Yes, a Hobart player. Deveki Marines picks up on an error. He pounces on it and charges off towards goal. It's Deveki Marines, and Lucas Hill just cynically steps in, and he knows the yellow card's coming his way for that. Morton go the little dink again. He takes the shot this time, hoping for the rebound, but there is none. Full ball for Morton. It springs Wadawu. Tried to tee up Gerson. Gerson on the left. Great save, Kieran Brown. Denies Gordon Gerson.
Turner now, he's got a few in the box, but he spies Gorry far side. Tees up to Deveki Marines. Got DeGhetto in the centre. What a block there from Lucas Hill.
Goal saver. Deveki Marines is into the box again. He gets around Holmes. He can't get around the mountain. He has been imperious in the box so far. That's closed down by Gorry and causes a few problems. Olympia a little bit quiet today for Al. Andrew, haven't seen too much of him getting involved, but it doesn't help that he's positioned usually behind.
Lovely turn there from Warren Wadawu. He tries to tee up Gerson, but gets another bite at it and swings it far post. Did have Undy lurking there.
Jack Turner works it to Schmidt. Lucas Hill had front position on DeGhetto. Thanks for the back heel that from Jake Vandermeer. Showtime there. Rolling so far. Wadawu swings the corner in. Player hits the deck there. Turn and shot, and it was blocked away. They'll get a second chance here. Griffiths has time to shape one in towards the Gecko. Hugh Undy at the top of the box. Volleyed it straight to Dogger Brown. Closed that one down nicely, and now the foot race is on.
It's whacked away there by Dogger Brown, though. Imperious in defence as ever, and that is just rude from Ruby Castaneda.
Now sliding in Castaneda. Morton's still going. Stevens with a good challenge. Lucas Hill, they still can't get it away from the foot. of the Warthogs.
And he'd want to clear this one away. Only as far as Turner, he goes, the chip. Ooh. And it was a lot closer in the end. Wadawu curls it into the box, near post. Gecko gets ahead to it. There's a cluster of bodies there, but armed away only as far as Wadawu. He goes first time. Kieran Brown gets a good double fist to it and gets it away. But Becky Marines has had a beautiful ball played over the top. Balances the ball like a seal. Gets his shoulder dug in there and wins the free kick. And just
Jack Turner, he's got the option of Morton. He passed it straight to Castaneda. I think they might have caught out the Warriors with that variation.
But he did really well to recover the ball for his team before Olympia could break. A really good coming together there from Morton and Hill. But Hill just having the benefit of us,
but Walter kept fighting and eventually worked it to Gorry. He chips it up now for someone to attack, but it's going to be comfortably classed by the American Johnson.
A football game there for a second, just a bit of a comedy of errors going on, but Olympia now starting to get a bit of the position before a... Get out of here. And you can just see the smirk on his face, enjoying his work there as the ref.
Oscar Thomas. Here's Wadawu chipping in, looking for Gordon Gerson. He's denied by Kieran Brown. Just stuck out the leg and made the save. Danger not passed. Castaneda works it to Gerson. Gerson on the left again. Kieran Brown. Including Jack Turner. He can keep it in. Walter gets the byline. He's put in by Lucas Hill. Adam Gorry with the left. Charge down by the business Orton. Did it well. Around quite a bit as Walter looks in, takes a deflection, might land in the path of the Vecchi Marines, who attacked it splendidly and then fired off a shot. It took some saving from Brett Johnson. The Marines showing through again. Well done, Connor Schmidt, to work back on Gerson. Oh, the hunger of the young man immense there. Won it, worked it to Morton. He plays it in support. He goes past Hill once again. Can he beat Gerson? Oh, he's copped a little hand to the face there. Made sure the referee knew about it.
He looked to be getting it going pretty soon. Looks to be Turner over the ball. He's got many bodies in the box. Who is it? Headed away there, I think.
Inside, looking for a little support. He's got no one really there for him, so he turns it. Oh, great ball into the mix. I just eluded Morton. Great delivery.
And they've got three bodies in the box. It's a 3-on-3. Walter puts a little bit too much on it. Headed back across from the Vecchi Marines. Very well top. The long neck of Oscar Thomas just craning to reach it before. Oh, the big shot there coming in from Gordon Gecko.
Into the sheds with a lead. He curls it in. It's through a sea of boys to the back post. Undy back in. Vandermeer volleys and Brown again with the save.
Good big counter. Been end-to-end stuff for the last 10 minutes. And Vecchi Marines just good coming together there from him end-to-end as both teams give their all to try and get a goal. Great turn here from Turner. Turn by name.
Welcome back to the Theatre of Dreams, the second half, not too far away at Darcy Street. 0-0 the score between South Hobart and Olympia. And we have a look at the league table and see just why this game is so important. A massive 3 points up for grabs. South Hobart's recent form leaving quite a bit to be desired. Not too often you only see 1 win out of 5 in the league for South there, but that's why they need the 3 points today.
Forza Juve on that, isn't it?
Absolutely. A big match next Sunday, Launceston City versus Hobart Zebras. We'll bring that one to you, but for now we've got 45 minutes here and an Olympia team, as we see, who've dropped 2 games in a row as well. They're desperate for points. These are 2 of the real big guns in the recent times of the NPL Tasmania. Both had league title ambitions leading into the year. Both will find themselves in a world of hurt if they were to drop any more points today. It is a huge 45 minutes here at Darcy Street. We'll see if there's been any adjustments made by the managers at the half. But they're going to leave it all out there on the pitch, I'd have thought, because they know what's at stake here as we get ready for the second 45. Isaac DeGetto about to take the kick-off.
There has been an Olympia sub, actually.
Joffrey on, Goso. So Hugh Undy, I'd imagine, is the man off.
Yep.
Yes, no sign of him. So Undy has eventually succumbed to that injury. And the king of the Andals has been introduced. Can he perhaps swing this game and take a chance? The Warriors created a few in the first half, couldn't convert, but it's South immediately on the offensive through Walter. And he wins a corner within 10 seconds of the restart.
Route 1 football there from South Hobart, just teeing it up and getting it moving early with the long ball. Certainly worked out pretty well for them to begin with here, looking to get the breakthrough going early. Morton just offering the short option there, and Gorry goes to him, takes it early, swings across the ground. Oh, Turner just attempting to wrap his boot around it, but couldn't quite direct that one on target.
Good start in the first 30 seconds from South, showing some positive intent. Deveki Marins tracking back, and Koso with a chance at his first involvement. Just going to hold up there. Gerson was offside. Well, won back by Connor Schmidt. He excels at winning the ball from behind. His attacker just gets those feet in and just seems to time it really well every time. Doesn't commit the foul, he just seems to get the ball. It's a bit Luke Hughes-like without the stature.
Certainly without the stature. A big lighthouse man, as you often see, lining up for the Zebs. But yeah, he certainly does do a good job of those types of challenges, and has been a pretty accomplished customer since emerging here for South Hobart, particularly with the presence of Liam Quayle around the traps too.
That'll probably prevent him getting in for a little while, as Koso works it to Wadawu, takes the shot on, but he didn't collect that one correctly, and it skews wide. But been blessed with fullbacks in recent years. South Hobart, Adam Gorry, since he came to the side, has been an absolute star. And Schmidt settling in nicely in that left-back role.
A little bit disappointed in the South Hobart crowd there for not getting more stuck into Warren Wadawu for that effort, because it was pretty unimpressive, if I'm to put it politely.
Yeah, it was an opportunity for the Bronx, and Thomas, he's not waited for that one. He couldn't wait for that one, because Wadawu was about to jump over it. And he'll get the second crack.
Seemed a bit unnecessary, that one
there,
and I think Kieran Brown is just going to have to whack this long now, because the Olympia forwards have been alert to the fact they were trying to play out from the back.
The punch comes from Gorry near side there, just extends the juke. Over the head this time and missed it, and in fact it looks like Wadawu has drawn a free kick.
I've just stolen 30 centimetres here. I'm surprised Deveki hasn't come over to just correct that.
Take it quickly to Wadawu. Wants to jink on to the right. Holmes with a good header into the back of the net, but the offside flag had been raised.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having another look at that one. Certainly arrived there with some pretty good pace and speed.
It must have been Wadawu. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
Kick. Yeah, can't work that one out. Might need the explanation of that one post-game. Something's going on. Flag went up.
And it's a pretty innocuous reaction from the crowd too, so maybe we've missed something here. But Gordon Gecko turns and gets things going down the left. It's Griffiths. Tries a little back heel to play the 1-2, but Just rolling away from the Olympia Warriors there.
So Brown short again to the Giraffe, Oscar Thomas. And he just launched this one up towards Alex Walter. Alex Holmes always had the height in that battle. And he nods it away. There'll be Cutler coming over the top there. And Gori. Now Walter. Spills away of Castaneda. He's going to spin his way out of trouble here with a bag of tricks. He couldn't get past Gori, who was just stationed on the ground and held up his progress. Griffiths. Udawu. Griffiths. Look for Earl. Read that one, cut it off and sent it back in the Holmes direction. He heads away. Gori to Turner, who blatantly handled that one. Easy decision there for Charles White, and a couple of balls on the pitch at the moment.
Oh, no.
I think it was deliberate, just catching the arm. Very unnatural position, long ball. Udawu not going to be able to chase that one down. He's got wheels, but he's not that fast. That's set him too much of a task. Slightly cagey opening few minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say just a couple of skill errors crept into it in the last couple of minutes, so probably largely caused due to this excellent forward press that Olympia have been running. And as we can see, it occurs again, and it's making them turn the ball over high up the pitch here, South Hobart. The worry is they might just be caught and allow somebody in behind here. Just combining here, DeGhetto and Nick Morton, bustling through there. Nick Morton, great box-to-box work. Walters is going to get there first. No, he doesn't. Griffiths just getting really stuck in there. Excellent work from Olympia's left back to get over and snuff out both those challenges and win the throw.
Really enjoying his game today, Griffiths. He's been solid. That one's out of play as Morton tried to magic his way out and has a second disagreement with Big Poison Ivy on the line there. He's the Mortal. Twice he's disagreed within 30 seconds, but I think probably the right decision on both occasions. So this one goes into the South Hobart bench. A big monkey looking to get himself involved.
Showing cat-like reflexes of a goalkeeper there.
He was sharp in the challenge, really. Running around with peers his own age. Adam Gori with a throw-in opportunity for South Hobart here. He goes short to Jack Turner, and the returner. Missed it to the man who kind of taking his spot in that Olympia midfield. It was a switch. It wasn't a direct swap, but it's what it worked out to be, essentially. Turner for Castaneda. Corner chance here for South, and after a bright opening couple of minutes here for Olympia, they'll enjoy a little bit of spell of pressure of their own as the wind is starting to pick up again. It is really howling through the ground now. They take it short. Nick Morton sends it deep. Oh, picked out his man too, but couldn't make any purchase on it to Jetto. Gerson up against two. Schmidt and Feral TV. Adam Gori. With Castaneda, did he just push him a little there, Gori? Got away with it. Morton showed strength, got past Griffiths. Adam Gori rolled it back towards Morton. He dealt with after he got rid of it too,
I really think Holmes got him on the follow through, but now it's Joffrey and Koso before Deveki Marines gets back to tip the ball away there. They were looking dangerous there, Olympia, but yeah, just a few questions to be asked about the follow through there before the ball was nearly played through to Gori, who'd gotten into the Pep Guardiola fullback position there, high and wide up the pitch. Just bustling through here, a little bit of congestion in the middle of the park. Nick Morton spreads it out wide here to Gori. He's got a few bodies in the box and just looks to chip it up with a bit of a curled outside ball. Gets back on his left and looks to Feral TV. He's got a couple of bodies out the right-hand side. Goes with Nick Morton, who jinks into the box. Far post, Walter!
Just wide. Delightful ball from the Warthog Morton. He's bought the space from Holmes outside of the boot. Reaching back to get it was Walter. Make good purchase, but just snuck wide of the far post there. And the best moment of the half there for South Hobart. The first real clear look at goals for either side in this 45. Castaneda chests it now for Griffiths, but Walter won it back. Castaneda really involved in the opening minutes of this half. Worked it to Paul Stevens. It goes to the business Altman, who tees it up for Van der Meij. Schmidt just put him off a little bit there, then turns and goes. Connor Schmidt down the left wing, slides it in towards the Jetto. Renato De Vecchi Marins was offside, I think. The flag raised there. Unable to get to work in the far corner. In fact, they've signalled a throw in, so not sure what the go is here. Definitely the linesman on this side had his flag up. Anyway, play resumes. It's an ungainly clearance. Worked out all right though. Stevens to the business Altman, long and direct to Gerson. Gordon Gerson getting in behind here is Gerson. Can he chip back inside of Thomas? He can't. He stood him up well, the Giraffe. It was really nicely defended.
Yeah, just extends one of the long legs there, Oscar Thomas. Manages to flick it away from Gordon Gecko, who was scurrying in behind South Hobart defence there. Been pretty impressed with his game today, Andrew Calling. Hasn't managed to get the finish that he'd liked, but his movement and positional awareness has looked to be two really good characteristics of this player for Olympia. Perhaps not as flashy with the feet as De Vecchi Marins, the import for South Hobart, has been, but nonetheless, looking forward to seeing more of these players throughout the year.
A bit of a hush descending over the ground at the moment. Olympia on the attack. The locals a little nervous perhaps. They know what's at stake here. One goal either side could be decisive with Doe. He can't keep that one in play despite his best efforts. Kieran Brown will take the goal kick. He goes short to Gorry. It's reached him. Gerson lingering about again. Morton. Long approach again as he tries to spring Alex Walter, but the big figure of Alex Holmes was there. Jack Turner towards De Vecchi Marins. Misjudged there by the Olympia defenders. De Vecchi to Jetto, scrapping away with the mountain. Did well Lucas Hill. Posed at the back. Had the situation well under control. Looking up and under on the clearance. Flipped on by Castaneda, the king of the Andals. He'll try to get round Darcy Street's favourite ringer. And it'll be a throw in the Warriors' way.
Alex Holmes looks to just chip one up to Gordon Gecko, but well read by Dogger Brown. Enjoyed Paul Stevens' work today in the middle of the park, Andrew. Haven't seen him playing a midfield role really before, but he's shielded this defence really nicely, and give full credit to Dale Hitchens for bringing that change. Once again, as we just see a good competition between Turner and Castaneda, but it's allowed to continue before Alex Holmes gets in with a big shoulder barge, but Nick Morton was strong enough. He's got a couple in the box. Oh, really good defending there from Brett Johnson.
I thought Turner wanted a bit of kick out of the keeper there.
A few people in the crowd may have agreed with you there, Andrew. I wasn't quite sure if that's what I saw, but I have to have another look on the replay. Gorry here, just trying to chip it in over the top for South Hobart. Alex Walter acrobatically combining Kung Fu Kid there for a minute. It's getting a bit congested here, isn't it? Before Joffrey and Koso gets rid of all that congestion, goes around a couple, could have turned it himself, but just overplaying the ball a little bit here were Olympia, and just maybe a cheese for a dive there, Andrew.
Yeah, it was a bit dramatic. I think waved away, and rightfully so. Ryan White, a bit harsh maybe to call the dive. He was attacking towards the ball. He just flung himself at it, but yeah,
looked to be a bit of the Billy Bremner about it.
Oh, maybe. There's some yellows for that before. It was on this ground, but yeah, he certainly wasn't deceiving the referees. We have a look at the other end here. Nick Morton doing some of his best work. So there is. He does hit him, but to be fair, he's going for the ball there. So that's nothing untoward from Jack Turner. Still very much in play when he swung his boot at it. So here's De Vecchi Marins back looking for Gorry. who was put there, and a free kick going the Warriors' way. They take it quickly. Stevens looks to spread the counter in the Vandermeer direction. He goes down the line for Warren Wadawu, but Dogger Brown was across, and then that'll be a free kick to the South Hobart centre-back. Wadawu just running into him late.
Almost deserves a bit more of a telling off there, I think. Warren Wadawu, that looked to me to be a deliberate attempt to clean up Dogger Brown because he was nowhere near the ball and it was well cleared.
Nothing too bad, but I think they're talking to the right option there. A couple of moments Wadawu involved. Charlie White just telling him to calm down a little.
He's had a good game refereeing today.
He has.
Kept a lid on things pretty nicely for the kind of affair that could boil over at times, but been studious with his approach to the game, Charlie White. Oh, so we just see a lovely coming together there from Holmes and Turner. Just a few of the crowd here disagreeing with that decision, but South get it going quickly. Gorry just takes the safe touch there, make sure they hang on to possession, but then foolishly gives it away with a poor pass. Warren Wadawu looks to find Joffrey and Kozo, but under hits the pass. Gorry up to Turner. It's got to Jetto overlapping on the outside. Looks to go out the other side. It's with Walter. He's got Morton in a pocket of space, but well held here by Griffith, just sticking tight to his man. Managing to hold on to the ball, Walter, before he turns inside. Flicked away well. Taveki Marins into a dangerous spot. He's been quiet this half and earns a free kick. Sounds like we've got a pretty decent Olympia contingent travelling away here, Andrew Calling.
Well, they've shown up in good numbers as we have a look here.
Not the best view of that one.
Yeah, nothing I saw there, but refereeing a better position. But first look seems a little soft, but not a great view of it. So
dangerous.
Does the Brazilian go? Will it be the Morthog? The Ricky Marines looks like he fancies it. He's the one setting the ball. After the technique he showed striking home last week, you can fancy him. Dogger Brown just working in a dangerous little spot on the outside there, maybe just to get a foot to it. If they go the low driven effort. Throw in the wall too. So what will the approach be here for Renato Deveci Marins? Round, let's see a breath in anticipation. The Brazilian steps up to the plate, kills it straight to the wall, and cops the Bronx from Warriors fans for his efforts. One never testing anyone really. Straight into the bottom part of the wall really.
Look at the stoic body position here from Holmes. Unafraid, unflinching. Ball fair whacked into the wall there from Devesi Marines, but the wall doing its job, keeping that ball out. So it's heaved into the box from Walter. The header away from Holmes, just chipped up and high. The offside flag raised there, but Brett Johnson had arrived rather quickly and they were looking to counter here before Castaneda was shut out by Gorry. They're on the move here with Wadawu, but he doesn't get a hold of that pass, and Oscar Thomas, the big giraffe, manages to get a hold of the ball. And they're on here, South Hobart. Walter in a dangerous position. He's got Deveki Marins and DeGetto arriving. Gets the head up to Gorry. Well blocked there from Alex Holmes. And they're on again here, Olympia. Ruby Castaneda coming up against Oscar Thomas. Does well to hold on the ball somehow there, Ruby Castaneda. But the company's good here from Oscar Thomas. Forces him back. The ball chipped high and away here, and you'd think Dogger Brown wins out. He does. Ball falls away to Deveki Marins, who was some distance offside and correctly flagged for it. Real end-to-end stuff here.
It is, and the Warriors are going to go right back down the other way through Warren Wadawu, getting a foot in with Schmidt. Wadawu kept the hold of the ball though, works it towards Gerson. He's got Dogger Brown draped all over him there. Ortman into the middle. Stevens just waited on it. That might cost him. Nick Morton bounces and he's off to the races. He sends it through looking for Walter, but he's just overhit this one. Johnson able to collect and not made to pay.
He's done such a good job of holding his run there too, Alex Walter. Just managing to sneak in, but yeah, the overhit pass a bit unfortunate there for South Hobart, looking to take the lead in this game, and just probably the correct decision there from Charlie White. A little bit of a block there. Got a couple of players in the channel either side of him here. Walter goes to Deveki Marins. He turns. He's got Lucas Hill for company. The footwork's good. Coming together meant that he was forced wide there, Deveki Marins, before he gets the business Ortman for a bit of company. As Schmidt on the edge of the box. Looks to just curl it into a dangerous position, but nothing doing there. Only down the throat of Johnson in the Olympia goal.
A fair bit of action taking place at that end of the ground. Gerson hits the deck off screen there as Gorry heads away. Jack Turner chesting it down for the Morthog. And dwells on the ball a second, then punches it forward for Alex Walter. Jack Turner, he wants a runner. He's got a willing runner in Adam Gorry. He gets the cross into the back post. Over the head of Deveki Marins. Jack Turner to the fall of the ball. And he just coughed it straight up to Vandermeer. He hacks it on out of there. I think we're seeing the win factor come into play. Olympia a bit better to the play in the first half at this end. We're seeing the same here. Adam Gorry knew he was offside, didn't even bother competing for that one, which is probably the right option because it's not going to roll out, but eventually Johnson able to gather it. The pressure from the Warthog Morton as the wind picks up yet again. 65 minutes gone, still 0-0 between these two teams, which is a very rare event. There's usually goals when South meet Olympia. Here we see one late. Deveki Marins to Turner. Jack Turner wide for an offside Nick Morton. And undisciplined. South starting to push hard now.
Yeah, they certainly are, but as we've seen throughout this game, Olympia do possess more than a threat on the counter-attack, particularly with the speed of Nkoso now being introduced to the game. Could be telling as the game gets further on and Degetto looks to find Deveki Marins, but ball kicked back to his keeper there from Holmes before the ball ends up at the feet of Nkoso. Nkoso combines with Paul Stevens. Gordon Gecko on the ball, looking to run into a pocket of space, takes on Gorry. Gorry just sticks out the arm and blocks him from getting on the inside there. Just getting a bit of a telling off from Charlie White there, but nothing more doing really than a free kick, but a very clear free kick, I think. It's a good touch there to get inside from Gordon Gecko, but
it was all over him. Pretty well in the positioning of this dead ball opportunity, so just taking it inboard a little bit. Marty Castaneda swings it into the mixer and it's met, and Gerson volleys home and Olympia take the lead here at Darcy Street. Gordon Gerson with an acrobatic finish and a little dance to celebrate. It's on here now and the visitors take the lead.
And the Gecko makes it stick when it counts. Sticks it right in the back of the net. It was a beautiful ball, wasn't it, to begin with here from Ruby Castaneda. And the header across from, I think, Paul Stevens. Just completely unmarked there. Getting away to the back post there. Gordon Gerson, what a finish. Olympia 1, South Hobart 0. They've got a lot to do now, South Hobart. Really was a brilliant acrobatic finish, academic finish even. Superb from Gordon Gerson. And the imports showing their value here today at Darcy Street. Could open this game up even further. Deveki Marins gets South Hobart going again. Again, they look to go the long and wide ball early through Walter. Headed away by Griffiths and throw in. Taken quickly to Turner. Walter just finding a pocket of space here. Looks to cross. Blocked away comfortably by Paul Stephen, I believe.
South Hobart with it all to do now in the final 22 minutes. We have another look at this goal. It was a wonderful finish from Gerson. He just peeled off and Alex Walter lost him. He did ever so well to volley that one home. 1-0 the score. And South need a response. We've got a set piece opportunity here to do so. They entered the day 9 points off top spot. As Gorry swings this one in, well away by the postman. Gorry with another look, swings it in again, and that's a poor delivery from Gorry into the side netting. And looks like Ken Morton's set to introduce Jacob Brennan as his side chase a goal. He's warming up on the bench now for South. Got a little over 20 minutes to try and turn things around. As Olympia looking to jump up with Devonport, keep themselves in the thick of the title race after 6 rounds here. Here's Feral TV, nods it for Jack Turner. This man's been immense at the back today, Lucas Hill. He worked it to Gerson.
Gordon Gerson, goal scorer.
Gecko doing his finest work up top. Enjoyed the celebration too. Always love a player who enjoys a goal.
A little bit of Antoine Griezmann about it and the salad.
Yeah, it's just shades of the Grease with the dance and the very loud lid. But it's his loud wheels that have caused the damage here. These 4 boots of his smashing one to the back of the net. Slipped up at the back and just peeled off them. As the sub will now be made. Jacob Brennan set to be introduced, and Isaac DeGetto will be the man replaced. Morton mixing his attack up as they try and wheel themselves back into this one. They need the 3 points today, South. Once back in the Lacka Celtic Cup last week, but their league form remaining indifferent. And staring down the barrel of another defeat here unless they can turn things around. The defending champions just on the ropes a little here at the moment. Ricky Marin shielding the ball. Did pretty well, but Holmes came in. Jack Turner pounces on it. Jack Turner. Well done, Lucas Hill. Really well done, Lucas Hill. He played it off Turner and won the goal kick as well. The strong arm being pointed out there by my co-commentator.
Yeah, and there it is. Just comes in and gets the benefit of the position. And strong forearm there from Lucas Hill to just hold off the on-rushing South Hobart player in Turner, the returner, as we've taken to calling him, after his brief dalliance with Olympia earlier in the season. Returned home where he belongs.
Yeah, he'll be happy to have him at Darcy Street, but will the grass be greener this season for him? At the moment, the Warriors, and they pounce again through Wadawa. He swings it in the Gerson direction. Thomas did nicely though, the big giraffe. Checked the run, won the ball away, and that was poorly done initially by Brown, but then just run out of room. Throw in Olympia.
Yeah, just showing his dribbling ability there for a minute, Dogger Brown, but not quite managing to get on the slaloming run that he would have loved to inspire something for his team. Jake Vandermeer to take the throw here. Leaves it only as far as Schmidt. Morton manages to combine here with Farrell before it's just thumped up the field for South Hobart. Walter heading it out wide to Gorry, but he isn't quite on the same wavelength as that ball, but does a really good job of closing down Griffith's attempted cross-field pass.
Ooh, you could hear that around the ground. That was a real thud.
He does not flinch, does he?
Didn't show any signs of it, but that was hit with some venom.
We'll just have another look at this one.
Oh, that is the
Falcon.
mother of all Falcons. The noise.
Honestly, I haven't seen him even flinch in the aftermath of that. So full credit to Gorry for just getting on with the game. Some people might go to ground and have a bit of a sook for a while, but Jesus. Either a very tough unit or got a very hard skull there.
Maybe both. But, you're right, he was unflinching. I think everyone in the crowd flinched. That was smashed into him. They've got some defending to do here. South Hobart, Olympia looking for an insurance marker. 2 goals might be beyond South here. They can find a second. Swung in dangerously. There is that man Gorry away. Morton did it well. Tipped it over the top of Castaneda, but he's back on the ball here and he spreads it wide to the postman. 1-on-1 with Gorry. Tried to get the cross in, but that was blocked off nicely. Turner and some good defensive work. Another throw in Olympia. Probing away here. And the Warriors. Gerson is remaining in the middle of the box. He says someone else needs to make a run here or there'll be no one in here eventually. He does that. Opens up a little space for Nkoso. And Nkoso with a, I think it was a cross. It's easily gathered in the counter-attack. Led out by Jacob Brennan with fresh legs. Held up by Business Altman. They keep going, and Holmes should deal with it. Didn't he? Played it straight to Morton, then recovered it. Oh, and then he clears again, blocked by Morton. A real comedy of errors here. Eventually Holmes clears, but in better field position.
I don't know about comedy of errors, but Nick Morton really living up to his nickname there, the Morthog, trying to sniff out a few truffles there, but not quite finding any delicious fungi on the field there. It's going to be Brennan, I think, on this left-hand side for South Hobart. He looks inside, finds Feral TV, falls to Gorry. Gorry just dribbling through, but knocked away by the Olympia defence. Luke Farrell gets out wide to Walter. Combines with Gorry and just slips as he's delivering that cross. And it goes far, far away from where he intended.
Yeah, it does, so we've got 15 left to play here. Launceston City on top of the table. With a nice little buffer to both of these sides. They'll be playing the Zebras next week, so a chance for both Olympia and South maybe to make up some ground on the leading two then, but South at the moment not looking like they're going to take advantage of some drop points on the Zebras yesterday. It's going to be Olympia to do that, and they'll thrust themselves back in the top four in this intriguing NPL Tasmania season where it just seems everyone is vulnerable every week. If you aren't on top of your game, you're liable to lose points, and that's not something we've been able to say about the NPL Tasmania in recent years. So I think it's a really good position. It's an interesting season developing, and we've got a fascinating final 15 here at Darcy Street. Can South Hobart rally back? The Morthog into Schmidt. Back to Morton. Morton takes the shot on, and it's just wide of the far post.
Real cross-come shot type of ball there. One of those ones that can curl into the far post or get chopped off by an attacker at the near. Getting some good dip on this ball was Nick Morton, but yeah, just overhitting that one a little bit. Positive signs though for South Hobart that they could still push back into this game. Johnson heaves the ball up high, might have to get the cap out if this sun keeps shining the way that it does. Turner combines with Morton. Ball comes out to Jake Brennan. He runs at Lucas Hill. Falls to Morton, but not on the same wavelength as Turner or Gorry there. Olympia looking to counter rather quickly, but it's just Kieran Brown at home here for South. Not looking to close down as quickly as they were prior to taking the lead, Olympia, so just comfortable to sit back and allow South Hobart to have possession if it's going to be that far back.
He's nodding forward. Gorry costed up to Castaneda. Castaneda to Griffiths. He punches it in there. Flicked on by Gerson. Looking out the back was Connor Schmidt, who dropped it off for Kieran Brown and made him work for it. Good well, the young keeper, and the wind gets behind that ball and it'll send it all the way to his opposite number there. And Rick Johnson will just gather that one. Take his time at the back. There'll be no rush whatsoever, the Warriors. Johnson goes towards Gerson. Brown got in his back. And a free kick blown in favour of the Warriors.
He made the most of that one, I think, Gerson.
Definitely. I think there is contact in the back. The moment it came, he was always going to hit the deck. To be fair, he is mid-jump when the contact comes. He throw it off balance a little. So I think when you're a centre forward of that stature up against the likes of Thomas and Brown, that's the type of stuff you got to do, really. Get front position, try and draw that contact in. And he's had a very good game today as the Gecko. He's caught the eye, and he might just have won the match for his side.
He's capable of anything today out there, Gordon Gerson. Be it climbing walls, sticking the ball in the net. A fantastic display, done a fantastic job of closing down too. South just losing a bit of sting from their game here. Can DeVecchi Marines inspire them? Alex Holmes earning his cheese there. Not really sure whether that's an accumulator or just one for stopping a promising attack, but I think he has earned his dose of dairy today. Just trying to get a big leg around there, but only getting contact with DeVecchi Marines. They'll look to heave this one into the box. South Hobart. Nick Morton over the top of the ball. Just teed up there. Holmes redeems himself with the header away. Castaneda and Gorry competing for it. Nick Morton again just thumps it forward, but the South Hobart players had not gone to the effort of getting back on side there.
Maybe a few tired boys out there, and got the Darcy street bathed in sunshine. We started with overcast and rather stormy looking skies. Ending here with gorgeous sunlight dousing the entirety of the pitch. For the final 10 minutes of this contest. Will there be a late drama? There so often has been when South Hobart have played Olympia. The Warriors would rather avoid any late stings in the tail this time around. Here's Jakey Brennan out after this one. Kept it in, worked it with Feral TV. They played the 1-2. Sweeping across is Vandermeer. Defending his flank there. Need to throw the bodies forward. They need some urgency here, South Hobart. Time running out of them. Turner tried to just skip past Vandermeer. He wasn't having any of that. And Koso with a burst. But he ran straight to Luke Farrell. The most thought out situation there. Now Luke Farrell
almost dared him to try and run
Marines
past
has
him.
got some space. Well done, Alex Holmes. Got the foot in. And Castaneda almost broke open at the back. He might, but Vandermeer strains to get that one to Nkoso. He plays it to Gordon Gerson. Cuts inside of Gorry. Back to the business Ortman, and now Wadi Castaneda. He's got plenty of space to work in here, Castaneda. Played it to Wadawu. Gets the better of Gorry. Chipped it straight into Dogger Brown. Might have been better off pulling the trigger himself there, Warren Wadawu. Still got the ball. Puts it back to Griffiths, but Alex Walters seizes it for South, and now it's the host who'll look to counter.
Got Turner and Castaneda coming together there. But Olympia win out. Castaneda looks inside to the business. Gerson gets it out wide to Wadawu. Not really anybody in the box, though. He just holds it up for a second. It's inside to the business with Farrell for company. Back to Stevens playing that unfamiliar midfield role. It's Ortman. Just thumps it down the throat of Brown there. Just allowed to pull the trigger there. South Hobart not really willing to close that one down. Nick Morton dribbling through. Looks to play into Vecchi Marines, but he just turned his back at the wrong time. And Lucas Hill looks to play in Gerson. This is full throttle football at this point, Andrew Cooling. End-to-end stuff. South desperately trying to get back into the game here, but the Olympia defence staying strong as it has been all game. Walter looks to jink past Griffiths. He was aware to it, but gets away. Hill again away. Only as far as Walter. Only as far as Hill. Just managed to be kept in here from Wadawu. Doesn't have too many options up the field, so tries to play Nkoso in behind. Giraffe Oscar Thomas to go with the ball twice. And they just chip that ball up over the top before Vecchi Marines gives Holmes a bit of company and wins a throw for South in a dangerous spot.
82 minutes have ticked by. South pushing for the equaliser. Here's the Morthog. Worked it to Vecchi Marines. He was shut down by 3 Warriors defenders, so none shall pass here, and then just got a little too close to each other, the South attackers. Nothing coming of that attacking move. Here's Castaneda. Worked it nicely to Wadawu, plays it in behind from Koso.
Oh, dear.
Brown, and that was the wrong option, wasn't it?
Oh, and Gerson just let him know about it too. He was in an acre of space. Could have been the chance to bury the game there. But hard to see everything when the blood is pumping and you're on the football field. Just happy to take their time here, Olympia. Not necessarily the worst option. Wadawu, Gorry for company. He just goes past him. Keeps going to Wadawu. Oh, nearly nutmegs Kieran Brown. What an extraordinary goal that would have been from Warren Wadawu. The postman with direct delivery to your door there. The ball is played in behind. It's Walter. He's going to get on the end of it. He's got Vecchi Marines and Brennan arriving. Curls it in only as far as Alex Holmes. He's had a big game back there. Has the big cuddler. And Koso now to the Jink inside. He plays a beautiful ball over the top to Gerson. Gerson straight down the throat of Kieran Brown again. We're seeing plenty of shots here, Andrew.
We are. It's opening up for the Warriors in particular. There's South Hobart throw men forward. There's a few spaces at the back to be exploited. And the King of the Andals wants to do just that. He rides the challenge of Thomas and then slid in expertly to whisk it away from him. Lucas Hill, he's jumping up in the attack. I don't know about the wisdom of that at this stage of the game from the big centre half. Anyway,
he stayed up.
He stayed up here as Castaneda might try and pick him out. He leaves instead for Gordon Gerson. The Gecko fakes the cross and then gets onto the preferred right. Now Lucas Hill, it's gone out of play. He weaved one way and then the other. At least Paul Stevens, when he's playing in midfield, was able to step back and cover Lucas Hill. But 1-0, I'm not sure the centre back needs to be doing that.
Yeah, look, I admire the intent, but I question the wisdom. Walter heads over the top. It's to Becky Marines. Is he in? Oh, and he's been collected as he was. He just got over the top of Johnson. He has been collected. It's pointed to the spot. Johnny White chance for South Hobart to equalise late on here. Probably rightfully given the cheese there because he got none of the ball and made contact before it had gone out of play.
We saw this last week, the flick on, the speed of DeVecchi Marines just getting him behind. He chips it over him. Keeper's nowhere. He's just lying on the ground. DeVecchi Marines, well, theatrically over the top, but it's a foul. It's a penalty. Has to be. And South Hobart now with the chance to level it from the spot.
And Gorry hanging on to the ball here. He's had quite a game so far, and I bet he'd love to get the equaliser. It's been good from the penalty spot.
He hit the spot last week, Adam Gorry. 1 from 1 on the season.
Brett Johnson, the penalty hero on a few occasions for Olympia. Can he do it again and hold on to what would be an incredibly valuable 3 points? The wind here just adding to the tension, trying to set the ball in the right spot. Gorry v Wind v Brett Johnson to salvage a point for South Hobart and maybe kick on to some more. Hush falls over the ground. Gorry drives it home. 1-1.
Well, both teams now with a few minutes to try and conjure the match winner. The Olympia fans don't like it, but it was the right decision. And South Hobart have got back on terms. They're never dead, this South Hobart team. There's so much fight in them. And they've got this one back now. Both teams surely have to push all out for the winner. There's a point. Not a whole lot of use to either of them.
We're going to have a good 5 minutes here, I reckon.
Grandstand finish coming up at Darcy Street. 1-1. Adam Gorry cancelling out the opening goal from the penalty spot and then collecting one more time. He's got the hands to the face and he's in trouble here with Dawu. I reckon that's the end of his day. I reckon he's in big trouble. The hands made contact with the face, and when that happens, you're in trouble. He wasn't happy with the initial foul by Gorry, which wasn't a great one. It was a fiery response. And if I'm calling this, I reckon Gorry gets a yellow and Wadawa gets a red. Let's wait and see. Now there's the yellow for Warren Wadawa, for Adam Gorry, sorry, but what's Wadawa got in store?
Tense.
He's just got the slice. So a slice of cheese apiece. And Olympia will get the free kick from the initial foul as temper's just boiling over here.
As they are bound to do in a game of this stature in the NPL Taz. Wadawu still having a conversation about it. Perhaps not the wisest move when you've just picked up your first cheese. Really unhappy about that challenge though. It was full-blooded from Gorry. It was a bit of a rush of adrenaline after the scoring the goal and looking to win it back and drive a dagger into the hearts of Olympia, but it's giving away a free kick. Ruby Castaneda thumps it cross field. Is Brown going to come? He does come. Gets a little bit of a hand to it, only as far as Gordon Gerson. Gets it into the box. It's Vandermeer, but cleared away from Connor Schmidt. Crucial intervention there from the left back.
So, the Warriors look to push on now. Can they find the match winner? They've relinquished their lead in this one that they've held for so long in this half. South Hobart ground it down. They got the chance. And from the penalty spot, Adam Gorry struck truly. Alex Holmes tries to spring Gerson, went the back heel. Adam Gorry stood his ground, then shifts it forward for Nick Morton. He's got Pavechi Marines one-on-one with Lucas Hill. He heads in that direction. The Brazilian turns around Lucas Hill, who just uses his big frame. He did it well, the mountain. He defended it expertly.
Mountainous defending from the mountain there. Used his size well. Gorry and Wadawu coming together. Gorry gets done there by Wadawu, but Oscar Thomas is there to bail him out. And they're on here. Nick Morton could be in behind. The big cuddler goes to hip and shoulder. Is it just Nick Morton? Squares it up with Walter! They've done it! 2-1 right here! South Hobart take the lead! Alex Walter, what a goal!
Oh, they just do this time after time, this football club. You cannot write them off. They were dead and buried in this game just about. But they fought back, and 2-1 now the lead with just 30 seconds left in regulation time. Alex Walter, and how's the composure from Nick Morton here? He knew the help was coming. He just held on to it, and then played the ball at the right moment to Walter, who was Johnny on the spot to put his side ahead.
Nick Morton was so calm there, it rendered me speechless, to be honest, and just put it on a platter for Walter to put away what is surely going to be the match winner here. Olympia going to be coming hard here in injury time. Joffrey Nkoso gets it out here to Vandermeer, shows good footwork. Gets the ball up, attempting to find Gerson, but Dogger Brown, imperious as the back, as he has been for many years for South Hobart. Extraordinary that they've managed to steal the lead here, Andrew.
Oh, it truly is. And they just keep doing it in South Hobart, and they've done it a couple of times to Olympia in the past too. This just keeps happening. Olympia must have thought this game was theirs, but they left the door ajar, and South have smashed on through. Alex Walter, it's been a tough season for him, but are things just starting to turn now for South Hobart. Here's Jakey Brennan. Some quick shimmying feet there. Squares it back to the Morthog Morton. But Altman for company, fashions a shot, but it was always well over the top from Morton as we tick into the 92nd minute. Is there time left for the Warriors? Time very much the enemy now. It can't be too long. What can they produce? Alex Holmes wins the header. He's going to have to win the second one, but he could only steer it out of play. That'll eat more seconds off the clock, which will suit South Hobart just fine.
Looks like he's just advanced up the pitch a little bit here. Alex Holmes going to be playing as an auxiliary striker here for the last couple of minutes. And they have to really, Olympia, because they're in a world of trouble. Devecchi Marines doing what every good striker should do in this position, just holding it up at the corner flag, but Wadawu manages to sneak in and he manages to give the throw away to South Hobart, and they are in no rush to take it. A little bit of a coming together there with Wadawu chucking the ball in the face of Gorry, who, despite all that again, was unfazed by the ball rocketing into his dome. Tough customer there, Gorry, but just an opportunity for him to slow things up a little before Walter earns a cheese for just kicking the ball away there, I think. I have a fantastic view of that one, but it certainly makes sense at this stage of the game. Griffith just getting frustrated here by Charlie White having a chat with Alex Walter and just giving him the teacher treatment.
As long as he's adding the seconds on for the added time, it won't matter a whole lot, but I'm not sure they've got long to work with here, Olympia. It won't be too much added time. Alex Holmes getting his frame in there and he just lumps it forward, which they need to do, straight in the path of Morton, who I'm not sure that was the right decision. He gives possession right back to Olympia. And a little bit of space. Here they go. Last chance saloon stuff. This surely for the Warriors. Stevens works it forward. Gerson picked off though by Loic Farrell, and Brennan doesn't win the throw. Gerson gives it to Vandermeer.
You take the yellow card there, Brennan. Boot that ball away.
Yeah, absolutely. The big heave towards the auxiliary striker, as you mentioned. And a South Hobart player clattering to the deck as Feral TV. That's a foul, and that's more seconds, and that might just be the ball game.
It's amazing how much more the little injuries hurt when you're one goal up. and into injury time, isn't it, Andrew Crawley?
Funny that, isn't it?
Luke Farrell just taking his time to get back to his feet there. Not sure he would have been doing that 5 minutes ago. But South Hobart in the ascendancy here, looking to hang on to Vecchi Marins. Takes a beautiful touchdown here. Intelligently gives it back to Farrell so that they can hang on to the ball here. Keeping this lead late. Brennan, he's got Turner on the inside. Not the best pass, but he hangs on to it. Schmidt now. The sting just looks to have gone out of Olympia here. The pressing isn't coming in nearly as fast as it was throughout this game. But just a cheap ball here, and Joffrey Nkoso has found the postman. He's got Holmes making a run up the left-hand side, but brilliant positioning from Oscar Thomas. Cuts that one out.
So here we go, Stevens at the back. Can they reload one last time? Brett Johnson plays it short to Lucas Hill. They don't have time to pass their way through here, the Warriors. Ready to get it moving, and they've coughed it up straight to Jack Turner. He gave it back to Griffiths, though. Warren Wadawu. Have they got anything left to give the Warriors? A diagonal over the top. Griffiths charging up the left-hand flank. Squares it for Joffrey Nkoso. He's pressured by Luke Farrell. Still battling. Good work, Joffrey Nkoso. Beats a couple. Still going, Joffrey Nkoso. He goes back now to the business Ortman. Gordon Gerson, miscontrolled. Almost let Schmidt in. Driving towards the byline. Faking the cross. Goes in towards Holmes. Couldn't pick him out. Repelled away. We've hit 95 minutes here. Surely the final whistle is imminent.
It must be coming soon. It must be coming soon. Olympia just trying to give everything that they've got here. Try and salvage a point. Ball is thumped long. Holmes coming together with Dogger Brown, but Dogger Brown wins out before Connor Schmidt just tees off with the driver and thumps it away and says anything will do, just not this end of the ground. Brett Johnson now playing a bit of a Neuer kind of role. Smacks it up the top to the head of the big cuddler. Once again, Dogger Brown very calm in the closing minutes here for South. You just think time is ticking, ticking, ticking. And that is that. That is that. Extraordinary win here from South Hobart late. They looked done. Olympia had the better of the chances throughout most of the game, but they have snatched a victory through the penalty of Gorry and the tap-in from Walter. Wow, keep their season alive.
86 minutes in, 1-0 Olympia. South hadn't really created a lot in the period leading up to it. It looked like the Warriors were just going to see this one out, and then they got sucked up the field. They left too much room in behind. The pace of Vecchi Marins, he sprints in behind, wins the penalty. They just lost their structure a little bit there. And then we got back to 1-1. South started believing. We've seen this story time and time again. You cannot give them a sniff. They are so good in this situation. And so it proved today. It ends 2-1 to South Hobart. They resuscitate their season and bring themselves right back into the mix. Olympia, the third loss on the trot. That one's going to sting for them. That's 3 points they've given away today.
And it's a very, very harsh 3 points to be conceding too, I think, because they worked Kieran Brown on a number of occasions and he had a pretty extraordinary game. Certainly pulled out the best saves that I've seen from the young keeper for South Hobart. But at the same time too, I really think that Dale Itchen's got his tactics right. Bringing Stevens in to try and block out the space was working well for the vast majority of the game. Lucas Hill having an excellent game at centre back too, but then late on, South Hobart just showing their class. Such composed work too from Nick Morton on the build-up to that second.
It was. So we'll leave you with the highlights of a thrilling game here at Darcy Street. We'll be back next week for another blockbuster. Top of the table showdown, the Italian derby. The Hobart Zebras and Launceston City, a doubleheader, Super League and NPL next Sunday. Do join us for that. But on this day, once again at Darcy Street, South Hobart deliver the goods and thrust themselves right back into the title race. South Hobart 2, Olympia 1.
Downs sticks it right in the back of the net.
Cuts out.
Hush falls over the ground. Gorry drives it home. 1-1.
Well, both teams down behind. The big coupler goes to hip and shoulder.
Is it just Nick Morton? Squares it up. They've done it!